I'm going to answer this question because I think it's been an interesting time to build in crypto. I think it's been a challenging time. It's been challenging for me. I've felt kind of burnt out a little bit recently, demotivated. And so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share my perspective on kind of just what's going on in crypto right now and what it's like to build within this kind of crypto environment. And maybe that'd be helpful or valuable to others as well. And then hopefully at the end, I'll kind of share kind of how I'm thinking about this, like how I'm going to move forward with my own project with Stoke Fire in light of all this. So let's look at some charts first to kind of give some context about where we are. It's February 12th, 2025. Trump kind of came into office and we've had, a lot of excitement leading up to this, but everyone's kind of in a weird stage right now. And I think part of that is if we look at this Bitcoin dominance in the last 60-ish days, Bitcoin dominance has gone up 10%. So a lot of kind of the money has flowed back to Bitcoin, and a lot of the altcoins have not done very well. I mean, the market is down a little bit in general, but altcoins are kind of struggling. So that, obviously when prices are going down, like this is the last 60 days for a lot of these coins, Bitcoin's been down 7%, Ethereum is down almost 34% in the last 60 days, Solana's down 14%, but it kind of went up a lot in the middle of that. So it's still down kind of a lot. Just a lot of red. So obviously when prices are down, people kind of panic, aren't feeling good about things, which means people's investments in altcoins are kind of going to feel the pain the most. Like here's an example. Here's virtuals. If I can kind of show this, kind of this big up and down V thing here. I think it got up to maybe like 4 or 5 billion, something like that market cap. And it's now down 75% from there, now at 850 million market cap. And this is a project where they're trying to build something valuable, something with utility. This isn't just a meme coin, even though I'm sure a lot of people were investing into this just with some different speculation. And then, I think the other thing that with context of just like how builders have been feeling is really what's done well kind of this cycle is like pump.fun, meme coins, which for builders, it's like, all right, why, those things don't have inherent value to them. And so it's kind of hard to maybe see when you're trying to build something valuable, see all these other meme coins and things kind of do really well. And I think what's that has gotten us to is this market where investors and speculators are just jumping really quickly from thing to thing. So like, here's an example of this. This was a meme coin, I think like a week or two ago called Jelly. And it blew up, got huge. I think this went up to almost like a 300 million market cap. And now like this is down, 95% in the last 7 days. So basically what speculators are doing now, and I think there's a ton of other charts that look like this, where it's like people are jumping into something for like a day or two and then everyone gets out. And this, I think, is just a very demotivating thing where it's like, if you're building in crypto, you're wanting to build for the long term. And, that's why I came into this with Stoke Fire is like, I want to show and build a crypto project that can last for a long time and see how I can innovate and use crypto to make something interesting and make an exciting experience. But when you see projects that are just like going up, they blow up, they do really well, and then for a day or two, but then they just all kind of die. That is just kind of a very demotivating thing. It kind of gave me some burnout seeing that. And it kind of just makes you think like, okay, what are we building here in crypto? And it's like, okay, what do people want? Like, what do the investors want? And I think that in some ways, the investors and traders kind of get to this place where we're at in the cycle where it's all about kind of making money just because there are projects that have done well and going up. So people are just like jumping from thing to thing. It's like this hot ball of money that's jumping around. And in some ways, when we're at this point in the bull market in the cycle, I think it changes how investors see projects and do things as well. They kind of just start to be like, I'm just trying to make some money here. Where, maybe earlier in the cycle, those same kind of investors were more long-term thinking and would invest in projects that they believed were going to make something valuable over a longer term. And we've just kind of eroded that a little bit, I think. And That's just kind of hard to see as a builder, that like we're all just building these short-term things that don't last long and don't really stay around here very long. And so as a builder, what I've had to come around to kind of is that this is kind of, I'm kind of just seeing this as a stage, that this is just something that happens probably every bull market, where traders kind of just jump from thing to thing, just trying to make some quick money, just make a lot of money. And it's just kind of part of the process where this just happens. And in some ways, you kind of have to ignore it, I think, as a builder, where this will only last for so long. I think I was questioning there for a little bit, like, are we actually going to make anything long-term valuable? Am I going to be able to make anything long-term valuable in this kind of environment with Stoke Fire when this is what's going on? And I think it's all just kind of part of the process, that it pushes crypto up, probably a little bit too much to like some hype, to some kind of bubble, and then things kind of go back down to normal, and then we kind of can rebuild the valuable things again. And each time this happens, like in a cycle, more of the value does actually happen. But it just takes this weird process in crypto because we have traders and speculators that are trying to make some quick money. Like we can even see this in the Stoke Fire charts and stuff. So this is the Dune dashboard for Stoke Fire. These are active players. So we definitely had some hype within the game. We got up to around almost 3,000 daily active players. And you can see that, a lot of these people probably came in because they saw that people are making money playing Stoke Fire. Like players have made some money. Like players have made over $200,000 playing Stoke Fire. And so then all these people kind of jump in and there's kind of more hype there. Like not all those people are actually going to make that much money. And so then once they start to realize that, you can see we've kind of died down to almost 1,000 active players, 1,200-ish. So now, and seeing that, like going through that as a builder is definitely kind of a demotivating thing. There's some burnout there because, I was working like crazy, and then like seeing these players kind of come in and then just leave once they kind of realize that they didn't make the money they were expecting. That's kind of demotivating. And so I think what I had to kind of come to is that like, this is just kind of part of the process. We're going to have like these up and downs of hype kind of like this, that will probably happen again in the future. And there's going to be certain players and investors that will just come once they realize they're not making money. They're going to go. They're going to kind of in some ways be here for the wrong reasons. And then ideally from that, you'll pick up so many players and so many people that are going to stick around for a longer term. And so that's kind of the hope, that I can kind of continue building, and these things will kind of come and go, but hopefully we have a growing group of players and people that believe in what we're building and want to stick around for a longer term. I think it also could be like, I'm thinking about like, okay, how can I find the right people? Like, instead of finding these people that are maybe just going to stick around for a little bit, like how can I find the right players, the right users that are really going to actually enjoy the experience and want to be a part of this for a longer term, and kind of building towards that and finding those kind of users, I think is another thing I've been kind of thinking through how I can do that. So I think this is just what happens with speculation. This is what happens in crypto when people see potential to make a lot of money. And so I think as a builder, you kind of just have to just think longer term and just kind of see that people are going to come and go. I mean, I guess there is a balance as well. And I think that's the difficult part, is that like, I also want to make the short-term speculators happy at least, and you want them to come around. Like in some ways, our whole revenue model for Fire, Stoke Fire, and for the players is built on top of speculators. So when people are speculating on the Fire token, they're buying the token, a fee goes to the players, and that's how the players make money. And so in some ways, we're kind of built on top of that speculation. But at the same time, I need to build it so that our game does not live and die on these short-term thinkers, on this short-term speculation. And so that, I think, is definitely the challenge in crypto. And I think that's why in some ways we haven't seen a crypto game that like lasts a very long time. And so I'm trying to innovate and figure out how I can get the incentives right to where we can kind of build through all those hype cycles, and build something that lasts and that is longer term. So hopefully, I don't know if this was interesting. Hopefully this gives kind of some perspective of a builder kind of building in this space and how I've kind of been thinking through this. And it's definitely been, for me, kind of like a challenge to like just get my mind in the right spot of like how I'm seeing these things and just kind of building for a longer term. And so if you're building in the space, this is what I kind of recommend for you to do. Like you have to understand the traders and the speculation and the short-term investors to kind of know what's going on. But then I think you have to kind of just have a longer term horizon on what you're working on and trying to make something valuable. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'd, advise for other builders to try to do. It's difficult to try to get your thinking around that. But I don't think all hope for crypto is lost. I think we are going to slowly build something that's valuable and exciting and innovative in new ways. And that's what I'm trying to do with Stoke Fire.